G'day, West Ham mates. Welcome to another episode of the Southern Joe West Ham Show with your West Ham mate from down under, Southern Joe. Now, last week I spoke of how many crap reports have come out saying that this deal is done and that deal is done, all the while when the transfer window hasn't even opened yet, let alone the dust even settle on the end of this season just gone. Now, the worst offenders that come up with the clickbait crap and are being posted on West Ham Facebook pages are the following sites: sportnews365.com.ng, gentlesoccer.com.ng, sporthub360.com.ng, footballinsider247.com. But the worst one is an article from today as I record, which is May the 22nd, 2024, from topsportsnews.co.uk. It says that West Ham are mourning the passing of David Moyes. Now, this is either a sick joke or is confused with an article from the East Lothian Courier about a local legend who's also named David Moyes. Apart from that article, which I did a Google search just to confirm that the now former West Ham boss hadn't passed away, I can't understand why people who are supposed to be West Ham fans are posting this obvious rubbish, and why a decent percentage of people are believing it as well. Surely this is being posted by non-West Ham fans in disguise. Now, my rule of thumb is still this: if it's not on the West Ham official website, it's not official. People are getting their knickers in knots over all of this before the transfer window even starts. By the way, we can't even say 100% sure that Senor Hulen is really officially signed. I've seen false reports about Kudus leaving, having his supposed £85 million release clause that doesn't even activate till mid-2025 if true, being activated. And the Paqueta stories about him supposedly leaving for Man City's have reared up again, despite he himself posting on socials that he is looking forward to taking West Ham forward next season. People, till the club announces it, it's all speculation, and a lot of it is usually wrong. It's absolute horse droppings. Now, a big thank you to the following Facebook pages that have accepted links to this YouTube show in recent weeks. They are West Ham United Updates and News, Hammers Around the World, and also West Ham Voice. Please visit and sign up for these Facebook pages. Now, before we throw to a break, there's been a lot of talk about VAR and whether it still will be used going forward. I would like to see it retained, but with the following changes. Do not have it remotely. Each VAR needs to be in an accessible area of the stadium the game's being played in. The VAR needs to also be heard over the PA and through the commentary, like in other sports that have video officiating. I don't know if having VAR remotely allows an official to adjudicate on more than one game at a time, but have the VAR team definitely do only one game at the venue and the game that's been played at. Also, passive offside needs to be implemented inside the penalty area. This is because defenders sometimes aren't able to accurately judge whether to defend a player who doesn't play the ball or play at the ball, but is technically offside under the old rules. And while not physically affecting play, does cause unfair problems that would be eliminated if the old-fashioned offside rule was in play for anything within the box. Let's take a break and be back with a quick recap of our final game against Man City and my thoughts on the season as a whole. Welcome back to the Southern Joe West Ham show with your West Ham mate from down under, Southern Joe. So we played our last game for the 2023-24 season on Sunday, May 19, 2024. It was a 4 p.m. start for the UK, which meant it was a 1 a.m. Monday morning start for us here in Australia. This meant I couldn't see this game live because I had to go to work. Now, I watched the highlights, and it looked like we didn't just make up the numbers. Despite being shell-shocked early by Phil Foden's quick double, which put Man City up 2-0 inside 20 minutes. Now, Kudus brought us back to life with an outstanding overhead kick that he himself set up with a masterful flick up. So we went into Oranges down 2-1. Right on the hour mark, Man City made it 3-1. And then towards the end, Danny Ings and George Earthy made cameos. And I reckon Earthy will flourish next season, no matter who the gaffer will be. He is a talent to watch out for. Now, Souček nearly brought the deficit back to 1, but his goal was cancelled via the VAR, which showed that he actually handled the ball prior to scoring. Jared Bowen missed this game due to tonsillitis, but whichever website tried to run a story saying that Bowen is up on betting charges should pull their heads in. Folks, I'm going to pay greater attention to which websites are putting out the greatest loads of horse droppings. And if this trend continues like this has been recently, I'm going to continue naming those sites and get them to clarify their sources and do better. The challenge has been laid. Now, those that know my style, I try and encourage better behaviours. And I'm extending this to my fellow hammers. Now, while you're all entitled to your opinions, I can't see for the life of me how any supporter could endorse their team to throw a game. I don't care about the reason, it just doesn't sit well with me. There was a percentage of Facebook supporters stating that it would be good if we lost the City game just so Declan Rice doesn't win a trophy, and more so that the arch rivals Arsenal don't win the title. I believe that I would have preferred Arsenal to win, given that City have the 115 charges against them that never seems to be resolved. Now City have 4 titles in a row. But I would have preferred Deck win a title because he gave his all for us and the badge. He captained us to European silverware. And before anyone wants to belittle the Conference League achievement, show me another UK team that have taken that title over the years. I'll wait. I would rather we win and damn what the consequences it causes for other teams. Here in Australia, there was a scandal that broke out about 10 years ago with regards to the AFL, the Australian Football League. Now, we have a draft system, like many US codes, where the best young players get selected to clubs. The team that finishes last always gets first pick, and that's usually the best of the young talent. It would be like every Premier League club putting up their academy players into an open draft, and the first selection in the Premier League case would probably go to the championship team that won the playoff to reach the Premier League. But the AFL doesn't have promotion or relegation. So there was this match late in the season between the 2 bottom clubs a few years ago, and both teams looked like they were trying to lose. This was also because at the time, the bottom team could apply for what was called a priority pick and get 2 youngsters and bolster their list quicker and get off the bottom. And that was meant to even the playing field. It became a sham because we don't like throwing games for any reason, no matter how bad you're going. And I'm pretty sure every professional athlete would think the same. We all say West Ham till I die, so we should live it 24/7, regardless of what tidal hope we disturb. Time to wrap up the season, but first, welcome back to the Southern Joe West Ham show with your West Ham mate from down under, Southern Joe. So the 2023-24 season is all done and dusted and all settled. Now let's look at the facts. We finished ninth. Yes, would have been lovely to finish higher, but ninth is 5 places above where we finished last season. We reached the quarterfinals of the Europa League, a step up from last season's Conference League comp that we won. Now we bowed out in the quarterfinals to the hottest team in Europe, Bayer Leverkusen, who have already won the Bundesliga, are looking at winning their domestic cup, and are as well, they're in the Europa League final where they face Italy's Atalanta. They're undefeated in all competitions, and we held them to a 0-0 draw at our stadium, and we were 2-0 down before that time because we let in 2 cheap goals in the last 10 minutes of the first leg at their place. Yes, our domestic cup runs were pretty ordinary. I agree that our squad needs bolstering seriously. But here's where the aces, the armchair experts, once again have little idea of what really goes on in the real world. If we have certain financial constraints, then that means we can't just throw bags of money at anyone we want. Otherwise, we could probably sign Mbappe and pay him the equivalent in wages, the GDP of 3 or 4 small nations. It's also whether the player wants to play for us. With the ridiculous pay packets these players are getting these days, squad placement, level of football, area to live in and work in, and especially if they have families, all must come into consideration when they're looking at anything. Look at Craig Dawson. He was very happy playing for us and knew he was a squad player and still got decent game time. But he wanted to be closer to his family in Wolverhampton. David Moyes wanted to keep him, but Dawson wanted to be closer to family. So we accepted his decision and moved him on to Wolves. I join the sentiments of many of you guys in getting new players, especially a good striker and some new defenders. If Ivan Toney has been cleared of his allegations, then I would like to see him join us. I've always liked Adama Traore of Fulham, formerly of Wolves. With Senor Hulan possibly at the helm, if that is indeed true, then we have a chance at a fresh beginning, a new chapter. David Moyes did wonders for us, but maybe even now he feels like it's the right time for himself to move on and for West Ham to move forward. So let's take a break, reset, and get ready for an active and hopefully fertile transfer window. That the squad gets back after their break, stronger, healthier, and fresher. So looking to get back to European football and perhaps picking up some more silverware. That'll be along the way. It'd be really nice. I will do at least one more weekly video. Then it'll either be sort of fortnightly, or if a slab of news needs recapping, I'll do a video then. So till then, come on you Irons, from your West Ham mate from down under, Southern Joe, saying hooroo.